Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. The reason I'm on the verge of laughing is I'm thinking this is probably going to look ridiculous with how big this is. I did not realize how big this pop filter was when I ordered it, but it is here and it allows me to use the microphone, so I will probably buy a new one in the near future, but until then, this oversized thing is here to stay. So with that said, today's video I want to talk about the Lakers and their situation like trade-wise, because this was a video I borderline thought was worthy of a main channel video, but really I think I've said my thoughts about the idea of the trade enough that I don't really need to cover it on the main channel, but why not give them here again? However, I will say the thoughts have changed a little bit because the nuance of the situation has become more clear, because initially, I'm just realizing my dog's hair is probably all over my leg. Originally, I was very pro-trade, and then the more I thought about it, very anti-trade. And at the point they're at right now, I'm leaning still anti-trade, but like I get the other perspective far more than I did before. I'm cool with that thought. I'm not gonna argue with you if you say like they should trade one of those picks and like get Buddy Hield or something along those lines, you know? I don't think that's a ridiculous thing to say. However, me personally, let me just present my argument for no trade, which is of course that I think when those years come around, which they will come around sooner than you think, time passes by too fast. When those picks come around and the Lakers don't have them, people are going to complain about it. Like, veering into the future, I am almost certain, especially if both of those picks were traded, that let's say we're in like 2035, there's going to be a Bleacher Report article titled, assuming they're still around or not bought by Disney or something. Maybe they already are, I don't know. But a Bleacher Report article that says like top 5 worst trades in Lakers franchise history, and it's going to be like number 5, you know. There's other worse ones, I'm sure. But still, you get my point, right? I do think this is a trade that right now we're not really quite thinking about just how important those draft picks will be, because if we're looking at the timeline, I believe the years on the picks are 2027 and 2029. So I'm going to be encroaching on 30 by the time we see the full results of this trade, if it does go down. But regardless, those draft picks, we got to assume the Lakers definitely don't have LeBron. He is not human, but he is still a little bit. So he's not going to be playing in 2020 or 2029, I don't think. Unlikely. Possible. Maybe. Not really. There's no way, but possibly. Who knows? He's weird. Anyways, my point. Obviously, you're not going to have LeBron. Russell Westbrook will long be retired. Anthony Davis will probably also be retired, or at least encroaching on it, because AD's already 31, right? Something like that. He's definitely in his 30s at this point, or right on the cusp of it, and that's 6 years from now. So he's either retired or old, and he might still be good at 36, 37, but probably not good enough to be your lead option and expect that Lakers team to be good. So we're also looking at the timeline as well, like even just looking at 2027, like if this roster dissolves this offseason, they're going to be going into the 2024 draft trying to get some, or that pick probably doesn't even belong to them now I'm thinking about it. But if this team dissolves going forward and they don't have their picks, there's a good, significant chance they will be quite terrible in 2027. And because they will probably be quite terrible in 2027, there is a real possibility they're quite terrible in 2029. The likelihood that they turn it around from recovering from that like 2020 Lakers championship roster, the remains of it, really that main duo, as they recover from losing that and going in a new direction, it's going to take a while, I think, for them to get back to anything good. I don't think they're going to flip it around quickly because, as I mentioned, they don't have a lot of their picks, and bringing this all back to the original topic, if we trade those picks as well, that makes that potential future even more dire. So I would argue it is in the best interest of the Lakers' future to simply hold on to those picks because Lord knows, like, okay, you trade that pick for Buddy Hield. Ultimately, what does that equal? Ultimately, does Buddy Hield move the Lakers from... I mean, I don't think they're in the playoff picture right now, but they could be. But let's just say it makes them the 8th seed solidly, and they win the play-in tournament. And because of that, they lose in the first round in 5 games instead of 4. You know? Like, do we really think Buddy Hield makes that big of a difference? Or if it was Miles Turner, although I think the idea of trading for Miles Turner is kind of off of the table, given that Anthony Davis was as good as he was at the center position. So... if anything, you'd be trading for a player to supplement the fact that AD is going to be out for a while. And, like, what player are you trading one first-round pick? Like, let's say it's Bogdanovich from the Detroit Pistons, who's averaging, like, an efficient 20 right now. I assume hitting his threes, and he's probably taking, like, 8 of them a game. I have no idea what his actual box score stats look like. I just know I was told he's averaging 20. He's done it before, and I assume the 3-point volume and percentage based on his past. But if that's not true, my bad. But either way, someone who's known to be a good shooter and who's producing 20 points per game. But he's also like 32 or 33. You trade that first round pick for him. He helps you become a playoff team. And let's say maybe you are even more competitive in a first round series because I guess Bogdanovich is a little bit better than Buddy Hield. But like, it's not really amounting to much. And even if, let's say, it was the Miles Turner Buddy Hield trade originally speculated on, or let's say you can get those two and that trade gets rid of Russell Westbrook, although with how Russell Westbrook has been playing lately, you question how much you actually want to get rid of him. You don't want him to make the money that he does, but doesn't mean you won't miss his production, although Dennis Schroeder lately has been so good. You know, they might fill in the gaps there. But either way, my point is, let's just say this puts the most ideal trade out of these picks. Are the Lakers winning a championship out of it? And if they're not, I feel like the answer to whether or not you should trade those picks is a definitive no. Like, if you really can't see the vision of winning a championship or even competing for one, which frankly, I don't even know if that would... If you got like Bogdanovich and the other pick, I mean, let's just say the other pick's Buddy Hield. Screw it. Just go all offense. Like your lineups like Russ, Buddy Hield, Bogdanovich, LeBron, AD. You know, that's 2 great shooters, 2 guys who can put up 20 on any given night. Or I guess you want Russ coming off of the bench, but I don't know who starts a point at that point. Maybe Austin Reeves. You even go more shooting. Whatever. The most ideal circumstance possible is probably still not going to result in a championship unless someone is giving away something substantial for less than they should. So given that, unless you're getting a star out of trading those 2 picks, I don't think there's any reason to do it because even though players have been playing better lately, even though they've gone on some win streaks lately, even though LeBron, even though he can't hit his threes right now, or this year really, is overall been phenomenal, I don't know. I just don't see that team working out as much as it needs to justify the loss of those assets. And I realize the impatient among you don't really see that, but for real, if 2027 comes around, the Lakers have the worst record in the league, and the Indiana Pacers have the Lakers pick, or the Pistons have the Lakers pick, especially the Pistons, because by then they'll have Cade, Ivy, and Duren all at their peaks, and whatever draft pick they get this year, and it's a deep draft, so you can guess that it might be a pretty contributing player. So to give the Pistons that in the middle, it'd be almost like the recreation of the 2004 Pistons getting the 2nd pick, but hopefully they would use it right this time. Anywho, yeah, that's my thoughts on the pick situation. I guess it didn't change that much, but like I will say I sympathize more with the argument for the trade just because LeBron has been so good this year after starting off so bad, and AD has been so good this year. Russ has made a drastic improvement. I would argue they're getting more from their role players this year than they did last year, especially Lonnie Walker, who stands out among them, Thomas Bryant, who's been amazing lately. Hell, even Patrick Beverley's been good lately, which is a change. So has Dennis Schroeder. Like, everything's looking up for the Lakers right now, but I still don't think they're showing enough. It's not up enough. That sounds wrong, but you get what I mean. Anyways, that's the end of this ramble. Goodbye.